For everyone new here, it's nice to meet you. My name is Tim and welcome to the channel. So today we're talking about a pen, but a very nice pen. Now first off, this is a sponsored review. Thank you to Steelform, but either way, it will still be 100% my own personal thoughts on the Steelform pen. Okay, so this is the Steelform Arc. So Steelform Arc is the world's first two-sided magnetic gel pen with a unique self-aligning mechanism. So this is a magnetic pen, so it self-aligns on both sides. It doesn't roll off the table like other pens do because it has this thing called a chamfered surface. Now all a chamfered surface means is that they smooth out the edges so it's not sharp and it won't roll like other pens. Now for the pen that they gave me, it is made out of aluminum, but there is a more premium version, which is the titanium one, weighs in a little bit heavier. So what do I like about the Steelform Arc? Well, first and foremost, when I review any products, the first and most important thing to me is functionality. So how well does a product perform its intended job? So it has a super nice and comfortable grip, and the pens I use on a daily basis uses this kind of silicone gel material, which I thought was fine until I was spoiled by this one. Now the reason for that is because you have these flat edges, which gives you better control because you're able to grip it better versus other pens which have like that circular gel grip, which may seem comfortable at first until you start writing frantically for a final exam that may or not make a grade, and you're writing 10,000 free response questions and you just realize that no matter what, you just can't stop breathing. You gotta keep writing, and as you keep going, your hand starts to cramp and blister, and you just realize that it may be better to just give up. Just as a completely hypothetical example. But either way, when you're writing with other pens, it inevitably kills your hand because you're constantly rolling it across, back and forth your fingers. Obviously, you have to write a lot in order to get those blisters anyway, and I'm being a little bit dramatic, but you get what I mean. Bottom line, Steelform Arc, super comfortable. Now the second thing that was important for me was, does the Steelform Arc bleed? Now this was the biggest test for me, I'll tell you right now, because I hate pens that bleed. If you have a pen that bleeds, you might as well use a marker. So the good thing is, the pen doesn't bleed. So like when you're writing on like a regular piece of, actually, let me just grab a piece of paper. Let me show you. So here's a standard piece of printer paper. And by standard, I mean like 20 pounds, if you care about that. You know what? How about we just do 10 seconds of pen and paper writing ASMR? Just make it more interesting. Sounds like a good idea. So clearly it doesn't bleed on regular printer paper, so if you have like thicker notebooks or even thicker paper, obviously you're not going to have that problem of it bleeding onto the next page. Now we get to my most favorite feature about the pen, which is, ooh, can I get a nice little drum roll? No, dude, can I get a good one? Yeah. The ink cartridge is replaceable. So you can replace them with the Pilot G2 pens. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with this one. But if not, there are also two other ink cartridges that I'll list right here and right here that you can use for the refill cartridges. Now, in all honesty, I use the Pilot G2 pens every day, the .38 ones. I like the really fine tip ones. Now, these you can use as refill cartridges for the Steelform Arc, which obviously looks way more professional, especially for work or interviews or, you know, for whatever setting you need. Now, the two other things I want to mention, first off, is the weight. So it has a really nice, comfortable weight to it. It's not like plastic pens, obviously. But at the same time, it's not like a brick in your pocket. And then what I really like about it too is that as soon as you pick it up, you know that this is like a solid, nice pen. Now on top of that, it's not top heavy or bottom heavy, and it's perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
So the last thing I want to mention is that because it has a nice black, I don't know if it's anodized, but because it has a nice black finish to it, I was worried that it would get chipped or dented easily, especially since it is aluminum. Well, you see in the B-roll right now, and that pen flip that we did, it was not done in one take. So it was dropped plenty of times on the carpet, and to be honest, I did drop it on concrete as well, which hurt my soul a little bit. But then take a look at it now. Like, there's no chips to it, there's no dents to it. It still looks really clean and nice. And to be honest, I did drop it on concrete. It was on like stairs and like rolled down, and that was before I filmed everything, so I kind of got a little bit scared. But I mean, luckily it was still fine. Like, you don't see any chips in it, you don't see any dents on it. It still looks really nice and polished. So it's super sturdy. Now with surfaces like this, you're obviously gonna be drowning it in your nasty little finger oil. So you're wondering, does it stain the material? Obviously, as much as I've been playing with it and writing with it and filming B-roll and stuff with it, clearly the surface is still super slick and shiny. For me, I wish that the Steelform Arc did have a clip to it. I know I get the whole minimalistic look, but you know, I dropped it down a couple flights of stairs because I'm clumsy. that was my fault. So even if that was my fault, it would have been nice if I had kind of that safety measure by just having a clip. In general, I like clips to pens because I don't like it falling out. But then I actually saw that the Steelform does have clips for their past models, so I don't know if that's an idea that they're planning to implement in the future for the Steelform Arc. So that's a thought. I actually like the fact that they made it an extension to the original pen, because obviously people will prefer one or the other, so at least having the option for both gives it a little more versatility. So Steelform just got back to me about the magnetic clip, and they've already fixed it. What they did was they added an optional attachment that you can put at the very top of the pen. I'll show a little animation right there. So that solves that problem. Now, the last thing I want to talk about for the Steelform Arc is actually the magnet. I think there's a perfect amount of force to it. You don't have to use too much force just to take it off. But at the same time, when you're attaching to the cap and you're like fiddling around with your pen and you're playing around with it, it doesn't come off. So there's a good amount of force to that's holding the pen together. Now Steelform also gave me a couple of other things. This one I think is the aluminum version of a past model of the pen that they have. So I think this is the aluminum pen. So for this one, it is a ballpoint pen and you can use one hand to click it on and off. But for me, I really like the Steelform Arc way more. Makes sense because it is the updated model. But either way, the problem I have with the ballpoint pen, well, first off, ballpoint, my handwriting is already messy as it is. So using ballpoint, I feel like makes my handwriting 10 times messier. Now the problem I have with the aluminum version of this older pen is that I wish it tightened as you're turning it to the right, because as you're clicking it on and off, you're inevitably spinning it to the right and left. So sometimes it just gets loose by you moving it up and down. So basically when you're clicking it on and off, you're not pulling it straight because it keeps wiggling to the left or to the right, and there's no way for you to pull it straight up. So as you're clicking it on and off, you kind of inevitably pull it to the left and right, which kind of like loosens the pen, and then you don't realize as you're tightening it, it still is loose. But I really do appreciate that this is the first pen I've seen that has that clicking mechanism in it. It still has a really nice polished look to it, obviously. But either way, the clicking mechanism is still very unique. If you're the type that likes to fidget with their pens, especially with these kind of clicks, it could be a really good fit for you too. Now there's also this pen holder, which weighs in at 39 grams. It's a nice solid walnut material. Okay. Definitely doesn't feel flimsy, which is good because you don't want it like sliding around your table and so forth. And lastly is the notebook. I have a thing for buying notebooks and backpacks and board games. That would be like my trinity of buyer's weakness. But I did wish that there was an option for plain white paper in their notebooks. That's because I'm mostly used to either plain white paper or lined paper. This is actually the first time I've seen a notebook with dotted paper, which is interesting. But my friend brought up a good point. She was actually the artist that I filmed in the beginning. But the reason why dotted paper is something that she said she preferred was because at least you have some kind of guidance. And then at the same time, if you have lines, it's kind of hard to distinguish between like certain letters like O's and A's. They'll get like muddled up inside the line. So at least you have dotted lines, you'll have some kind of guidance, and you'll be able to still read legibly. So that is my take on the Steelform Arc, along with the aluminum pen, the pen holder, and the notebook. If you're interested in the Kickstarter, please go ahead and support them. I'll leave links down below. They've got solid products here, so go check them out. If you're new here, please consider doing all these amazing things so we can grow this channel together. Have a great week, people, and I'll see you on the next one.